Hi, I am Dr. Z, reading you in light, love, peace, and harmony. Today's tip for everyday happiness is letting go is a relief. You know, we all have things that we hold on tightly to, and holding on tightly to things is a disease of the ego, and it affects the heart and it affects the mind. I'm not saying don't persist and persevere, yes. But when I'm holding on tightly to something, it's easy to get stuck. And we get stuck in our inaccurate perceptions and our thoughts and our feelings and our habits and our behaviors follow. And it doesn't feel good to be holding on tightly. It's an extreme amount of stubbornness. And it sounds like, it's got to be this way or it's got to be that way. This is my idea. You have to accept my idea. And if you don't, then something's wrong with you. And I'm just going to hold on tightly to my perspective. Sometimes you got to let go. You get an opportunity. And if it doesn't work, if people don't like it and God closes the door, you have to accept that and let go. So I want you all to play with me and get this feeling of holding on tightly. So take your fist and ball it up real tight like this, right? And feel the tension in your hand and just hold it there for a second. This is what holding on tightly feels like. Nothing can get in your hand and nothing can get out of your hand. But now, if you relax and open up your hand so that your fingers are all the way open, how does that feel? Doesn't that begin to give you some relief? Absolutely. So this is the process of letting go so that you can get some relief and have room for something to come in and also room for something to go out. Now this works with the mind and it also works with the heart as well. Because a closed mind, they say the mind is like a parachute. If it's closed, it's not going to operate, right? You jump out of the plane with a closed mind and closed parachute, you're going to land on the ground dead. But if you open your mind and you open your heart to other possibilities, right, it's going to feel much better than holding on tightly to things. And so that burden that we have, we need to learn how to let these things go. Let go of the old assumptions, the old ideas, the old feelings and behaviors that have been keeping you stuck. Let it go, because even God won't change your condition unless you change what's in your own soul. No people's burden can be lifted without change from within. So I want to share an experience with you. I went to a workshop one time and they had this arrow, right? And the arrow was together. And the idea was that you had to break this arrow, right, this long arrow, with your throat. And so they gave us this exercise and we had to do this fill out this paper that said that they weren't liable if something happened. And you had to put the arrow right here on your throat. And somebody else on the other side of this long arrow was holding it and they were gonna push. And you had to lean into it in order to break the arrow. But first had to write an old assumption on it. So I don't know if you all can see this or not, but this is the assumption that I wrote on mine. And what it says is devaluation, selling myself short of being worthy. And that was a big deal for me. And so we did the exercise. We did break that assumption. We did break the arrow with my neck. And it's a glorious feeling because I had to challenge those things that I thought, the fears that I had, in order to let go of them. So this is symbolic of breaking an old assumption, and it feels much better by letting it go. So when you learn to let things go, then you can learn to surrender to what is. Because what is, and you're not necessarily going to change it. But when you surrender, when you let go and you surrender, then you begin to call forth all of these energies that's out in the abstract in the spiritual world to come to your aid. Because the Spirit is within you, it's working through you, and it's working for you in everything else in creation. So by letting go, we can begin to tap into that energy. And it is a big tip for being happier every day. If you like this tip, I encourage you to sign up for the happiness campaign at drzhappiness.com. And until we meet again, always cherish life, love, and happiness.